Thank you so much for coming to the class today. Well, I'll give a little intro to myself. So my name is Ash. I am the owner of Forward Moves. You have previously met our incredible system specialist, Kira, who is our Everfit guru. And I am the marketing behind the business here at Forward Moves. So today I'm going to be taking you through a presentation on how to market your challenge in the new year. However, you can utilize anything I tell you today at any time of the year. I'm just going to give you a bit of a strategy. Now, I would really like to know where you're at with social media. Do you have a really good understanding of it? Are you a little bit more of a beginner? Do you avoid it because you just don't know what to do? Would love to know where we are. Advanced, I love that. Avoid. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so let's talk about marketing a New Year's challenge. So when you're looking to launch a successful challenge, one of the main things and mistakes that I see is you post once and ghost, or you talk about it briefly on a story and don't talk about it anymore, or you just think that people know that you're going to be launching a challenge, and why don't they know that you're launching a challenge, and why won't they sign up? But the truth is, you need to sell your business. You need to tell people that you're selling a product in order to actually have a successful launch. And I know that there is some sticky and yucky words around sales, and it might feel a little bit icky to you because you're selling yourself as a coach. But at the end of the day, if you do not tell people that you are selling something, how are they expected to know that they need to buy something from you? So this is really one of the main mistakes that I see in the online market, and it really comes down to the confidence of actually selling your offer. So you need to constantly be selling in order to have a successful launch. You can't expect jumping into a challenge launch and to sign 40 clients just by marketing for 2 weeks. You actually have to have a solid momentum in marketing leading into the launch. And we're doing this call in November, so that will give you a good 6 weeks to build up your momentum. So that's actually what I'm going to walk you through today as well. I'm going to teach you how to start nurturing your audience in order to launch in the new year's time and to bring people on board. So it's just not a one and done kind of situation. So quickly, I'm going to do a bit of a launch structure. You feel free to take a bit of a screenshot here. So I am going to be coming back to this throughout the call, but I just wanted to show you what a typical launch structure looks like, especially when you work with us. Basically, when you are launching a project, you don't want to talk about it for months and months and months and not actually launch anything. You want to give it a solid 2 weeks. Launching a project should be difficult. It should feel overwhelming. It should feel like you've got a lot of things to do. At the end of the day, that is marketing. Marketing is a huge job. It can take a full army to market your business. But as an online coach, and especially as a solopreneur, it should feel a little bit more difficult because you are showing up all the time and you are trying to sell something. So you should always give yourself at least 2 weeks prior to that challenge start date to launch and promote your challenge. Every post throughout this period should be targeted in at the problems that you're specifically solving with this challenge. And I'm going to walk over a bit of an activity today on how to actually identify them. So with your pre-launch, it's really important to dot all your I's and cross all your T's. I always get that statement back to front. So when you're coming into pre-launch, it is really important to actually be in front of your audience, insight in mind. And I know when you probably post on stories, and you can feel free to jump in the chat, you probably feel bad jumping on your stories every day. You probably have this statement of, well, I've already put it on. If I put it on again, I'm going to be annoying them. And you've probably just said that they're sick of seeing me. I feel like they're just going to not look at it. The reality behind this is people need to see your business over and over and over and over in order to actually sign up with you. So sure, Bob, who views your story every day, might see what you're posting every day, but Luna, who's only jumped on, might see your story on one of the days and she signs up. So it's really important to be consistent and really put aside that fear of being annoying. If you want your business to be successful, you need to be consistent. And I really cannot stress this enough. When I talk about this, I typically bring up email marketing. We all probably thoroughly dislike it. We all purchase from a website and then we're like, oh, I just keep getting emails from them. But when you think about the top 3 people that are in your inbox, I'm sure that you've probably thought of them when you have that problem, even if you don't look at their emails that they send through to you. Even if you click through and delete every single email they send without opening it. I know for a fact there's a makeup company in my email inbox. Never open an email from them ever, but because I see them in my inbox daily, as soon as I need something, I purchase through them. So it is getting your name in places, and this is what stories do. It gets your name and your face in places, and it helps you build that traction. So especially coming into your pre-launch, be on your stories, be up there, show people that you exist. This is the only way that you can get numbers on board. Something that you shouldn't do coming into launch is you definitely should not wait just for the project to launch and post one post. You should not also forget about your current customer wins. Everything that you do within marketing, and this is why launches can be a little bit difficult to understand. The launch is actually a succession of your marketing previously. So throughout this time, you still need to be celebrating your current clients. You still need to be showing their results, because at the end of the day, the results that you've got your current clients are potentially the results that you can get your challenge clients as well. Then you've got launch week, which is really based on scarcity and time-based goals to sign up. So, you've got 24 hours to sign up, or early bird offer is only available for the next 2 hours. And it's really important to welcome members into the challenge. Now, I know that I'm going through this a little bit quickly. I am going to break this down. I'm just giving you the overview here right now. And then in post-launch, I'll actually jump back to post-launch in a second. I'm just going to quickly check the chat to see if I need to answer anything. Beautiful. You're not being annoying. For example, my company, we are in everyone's faces all the time. And at the end of the day, that is how people understand that we exist. And it is not, someone had said this to me once, it's not your responsibility to think about being annoying on the other end. It's your responsibility to grow your business. So just try and look at it like that. All right, I'm going to jump back into this launch plan, as I said. Let's start with your challenge. So I would really like to make this an activity. So if you have a pen and a paper, get it in front of you. I'll give you a couple seconds to go grab something or type on your computer. But basically, with every challenge, there should be a unique selling proposition within that challenge that helps you stand out from your competitors. Now, in the online coaching space, we all have either weekly or fortnightly check-ins. We all have a frequency. There's always a training program. There's always a portion of nutrition and education somehow. So what is actually going to differentiate you from your competitor? And this is what you really need to think about with your challenge. And I know when you think about this, it's like, how do I reinvent the wheel and come up with something brand new? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to have something unique that will help your audience. So I've put a little bit of a breakdown here. So for example, we've got the competitor, weekly check-ins, a choice of 3 programs to pick from, and access to customized macros. That's pretty standard in a service outline in the online market. When it comes to you, we're going to have weekly check-ins because let's be real, we probably need to have them. Number 2, we've got a customized program tailored to them. So instead of picking from a program, there's a customized program that is tailored to that individual. They've got access to recipes with easy to scan MyFitnessPal barcodes to make tracking easier for them, and access to group calls based on topics to assist you in reaching your goals. Now, see how the service outlines I've built out for the you is a lot more unique and will probably hit more of a pain point than just a general, this is what you get. Is everyone following along with where I'm going? I will respond to that story outline for you soon. So let's base it on Everfit features, for example. Everfit is absolutely fantastic with customer experience when it comes to unique selling propositions within the app itself, so you can really optimize them. So for example, you have the meal planner and the recipes within the app itself. That is an all-in-one solution within the app. They don't need to go to Google Drive. They don't need to go to a website. It's all in their one app. That is unique. That is a really great customer experience and a really great selling opportunity. Another one is you can have mapped out accountabilities in your auto flow. So you can have specific accountabilities to keep them on track. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that remaining accountable to your customers' goals is probably everyone's problem across the board, or your customers are probably having some problems with that. So how can we make accountabilities unique? Have an onboarding form. What do you need to be held accountable? Let's apply that within the program and I'll touch base with you. That's unique. So we need to identify it with the problem. Something else that you can utilize in Everfit that I actually really love, and I do this for a couple of our customers when we do some project launches, is let's just say you're running an 8-week New Year's challenge, right? And in the auto flow every 2 weeks, maybe there's a mini challenge. Every 2 weeks there's a mini challenge. For example, the first fortnight is who can get the most steps. The second fortnight, it is who was most accountable with their sessions. The third fortnight, it might be who has, I've gone all blank here. The third fortnight might be who came up with the most creative recipe from the recipe library. So maybe your unique selling proposition is a community-based engagement because that's what your customers value. So really start creatively thinking about these things. It'll really help to sell your challenge. And this is going to be the point of difference from signing up with Bob rather than Sally. So identify that. I will give a couple seconds for you to all write that down if you need it. Ben, I'll answer your question soon as well. I'm going to get to the types of content on Instagram in particular at the back end of this call. All right, so this is what it kind of looks like. So with your unique selling proposition, there is risky zones, which is reinventing the wheel, being too confusing, too difficult. They really just don't know what you offer. The winning zone is knowing exactly what your customer wants and solving a problem for them. And this is going to lead into the next slideshow because we're going to be doing an activity on problems, but let's bring it back to the service outlines and talk about recipes. I want to talk about 4 different demographics. So we're going to have let's just say we've got one company that has customers who really value family, one company that really values their career, one company with customers that really value their career, one company with customers that really value nutrition. We're going to do 3 instead of 4 because I can't think of 4 right now. So when it comes to these, let's just say we've got recipes on the service outlines, right? Recipe number 1 for families, family-friendly recipes that you can cook in under 30 minutes. That is a value and a unique selling proposition because that is what matters to them and that is in the way of achieving their goals. Let's just say we've got recipes for career-driven people. Quick 4-item recipes that will help you stay on track, under 10-minute meal prep. Fast recipes. Let's just say we've got the recipes for the people that really value nutrition, whole food-based recipes that will assist with your health rather than just an if it fits your macros approach. So you can really start angling just general items that we have in our service outlines all the time to be unique for your service. Beautiful. Okay. This is my favorite part, and this is going to be a little bit of a collaborative part. So feel free to drop some comments in the chat because I will help you. Our main issue with launching a challenge is we don't actually know what problem we're solving with the challenge. So I want you to drop some of your customer problems in the chat. Now, I want you to think about this as if you're launching a New Year's challenge or a January challenge, what are the problems that your customers are having at that time of year? So I want you to start dropping a couple of the problems, and I'm going to work through them with you so you can see how we're going to build our content from these problems and unique selling propositions from these problems. Okay, let's go with Ben first. Sticking to a fitness program is a problem. Why? Tell me why it is a problem for your customers. Yep. Yep. Life gets in the way. And okay, so we've got a couple of things. So sticking to a fitness program is a problem. Why? They taper off and life gets in the way. Why do they taper off? Is there lack of accountability within the program that they're trying to do? Are they not enjoying the program? Is the program not tailored to their life? See how there's so many forms of content and unique selling propositions you can create to solve that problem for not sticking to their training program. Excuses might be one, but if you put excuses online, you're probably not going to bring people in. I know it can be a little bit frustrating on the back end, but why do they have excuses? To be honest, people don't stick to training programs because it's just not accustomed to them. They don't like what they're doing. They don't have enough time. Maybe it's a 5-day program when it should be a 3-day program. So let's break down the reasons as to why. Let's jump to the next one, nutrition. Nutrition's always a really hard one. Everyone struggles with nutrition at the end of the day. So why do they struggle to give up alcohol? Is it because they aren't educated around the impact that it has on you? Is it because it's a habit? Is it a friendship circle that they're in? The little nightly treaty treat. I'm so guilty of that. But regarding that is, why are they having their nightly treaty treat? Are they under eating? Why are they struggling with nutrition? Are they just uneducated about it and they really don't know? Falling. Yeah, good. So if you're, for example, if the reason why they can't stay on track with their nutrition is under eating, what kind of unique selling proposition can you create to solve that under eating problem? What kind of content can you create to educate them on that problem? See how we're kind of building out what the challenge is going to do for them and how it's going to help. Falling out of healthy eating habits over Christmas, really common. We're probably not going to be able to, for lack of a better word, fix this, but how can we help them stay on track with some of their habits over Christmas? Do we just need to recalibrate what all in is over Christmas time? Do we need to redefine what 100% is for them at Christmas time? Do we need to, instead of aiming for 4 sessions, should we say, hey, let's aim for 2 sessions? So how can we actually get into the brain of that individual and dig deeper in order to make content for them? Okay, what else have we got? Lack of motivation, super common. Lack of motivation, why are they unmotivated? They're relying on it, obviously. Do they understand what discipline is? Are you showing them what a journey can look like? Are you showing customer results with a journey? Have they tried everything, but they're just scared to fail again? Really digging deep. So there's so many things that are at a level of just surface level, really, and as a lot of things that we can just say in the back end in the fitness space, but it's digging deeper and understanding why your customer feels like that. And if you nail that, I can guarantee you that you're going to have a successful challenge because you're going to speak straight to it. Do we want some more time on this slide, or do we want to go forward? They say when they are stressed, they just want to lay down and they are in college. I don't know how to get them out of that. Okay, so let's go to stress. I'll make this the last one for us so we can move forward, but I'm happy to have a chat at the end. Let's just say they are stressed. Why are they stressed? Exactly, Ben. They can get more sleep. Do they understand their stress? Are they having issues with time managing? Do they feel like that they can't finish their workouts in time? Are they too long? Do they feel like that their nutrition plan is too hard? Do they feel like they just can't make adequate choices? Do they not trust themselves enough to get to the gym and they're feeling overwhelmed? We all know what it's like to try and talk yourself out of a workout, but once you get there, you feel better. So why is that happening for them? So just trying to dig that little bit deeper for them. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm happy to come back at the end, but I don't want to hold people up. So now we have identified your customer problems. I hope that you have at least 4 or 5 problems on the screen. Sorry, on the notepad in front of you. And let's move in to what you need to do in pre-launch before we actually utilize these problems to make some content. So when it comes to pre-launch, there is a lot of confusion around the purchase method of a challenge. And this is really common because it is a little bit confusing. So basically, I have noticed just working with coaches in the Australian market. I know that you might be in the US or in a different country, but I've definitely noticed in 2024, just with the environment being the way that it is, product-based purchases are a little bit more popular than subscription. And what I mean by that is people will be happy to purchase one-off things every single month than actually commit to a subscription style program. So due to this, I do recommend having a pay in full that they can just sign up and pay in full, and then having that MRR, that subscription that they can sign up to. So definitely with your purchase method, I do recommend having the purchase rather than an inquiry form when it comes to a challenge. Really important, because you don't want them to change their mind. You want them to quickly buy into it. And it really does come down to what platforms are you going to use to take that platform as well. And I'm going to explain the method to my madness here, because I know you might be like, oh, that doesn't really matter too much. So for example, when you're taking people on with challenges, you're typically taking on people that are not ready to commit 100%, but they want to dip their toe in. So people that are ready to dip their toe in can usually be that little bit more hesitant when it comes to committing to something. And when you're hesitant to commit to something, you are going to try and find any excuse to pull out of it. So this is why we recommend to kind of steer clear from like easy debit or things that you need to send a customer, they need to put in their card details and send back. We recommend having a payment platform that is on the spot. Apple Pay, fantastic. There was a statistic that went out and said that Apple Pay has increased purchases by 30%. And especially when your customers are really hesitant, if they can just double tap and purchase within a second, they can't change their mind in a second. So really thinking about how you're going to take their payments, it really does boil down into like the psychology of why your customers do buy. We work really closely with a platform called Nui. Highly recommend them. We have used them ourselves. And basically what you can do with Nui is you can set up a payment link, and you can set it up so they activate it, but their payments won't get taken to a later date. So they don't buy up front if you don't want them to. You can say sign up on the 15th and your payments will start on the 30th, but they've double clicked, they've locked themselves into that, and they're in your challenge. So it is important to think about these things, because how easy is it to fill in a form and just ghost someone at the end of the day? So it's really important to just really have that mapped out. Yes, Steph, you can definitely set that up with Everfit. It is an external platform. And yes, absolutely. I'm going to jump into Everfit payments now. So you can also do a one-off purchase through the Everfit app itself. And you can map them out into an auto flow as well. So it just makes it a lot easier to ensure that you get them on board. Try and steer clear of inquiry forms if you can. Just think about your challenge avatar is going to be a lot different to your ongoing avatar. Your ongoing people are ready to commit, your challenge are ready to dip their toe in, and it's just important to be mindful of that. Okay, your pre-launch, your job is to generate buzz. Does everyone here know how to generate buzz in their business to get people really excited and on the edge of their seats? Teasers, yep. What kind of teasers? Not really? Yeah, look, generating buzz can be hard, especially when I actually find this quite a lot, and you can definitely talk about this in the chat as well, is you you go to post something on your line, and then you go, oh, but no one's actually going to really care about this. Does anyone else do that? Or why should I post that? I don't think that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, everyone does it. I still do it. We still do it all the time. So generating buzz is completely your job when coming into this challenge. And I'm going to actually show you a couple of examples of it. But generating buzz, think about what you get excited about. So people love polls. People love to engage in polls. Ask random questions. Ask them what their favorite coffee order is, or ask them what, do you like a this or that quiz with calories, or this or that with training, or what's your least favorite leg day exercise, or just get some conversations happening. And then strategically, in the middle of all your polls, pop in a question. Do you really struggle with this? Yes or no? Because you're strategically asking a question and they're reading it, and then they're subconsciously starting to think, oh, I do have that problem. And then they see your name pop up on that screen a lot. So feel free to have a yap on your stories. Feel free to put some polls up, some stickers. Just start generating some really fun things. Make your story something really fun and educational to jump onto. Now, you can do this now. This doesn't need to be in the 2 weeks leading up. If anything, I really recommend now. You can show the snippets of the behind the scenes. You can show yourself building out programs. You can show names. You can show bits and pieces. People absolutely love this stuff. When coming into a pre-launch, as I said, make your stories really fun and engaging. People love quizzes and they love to be heard. So if you put question boxes up and ask them questions, actually respond to it online and talk directly to them. When you're talking on your stories to generate buzz, don't be like, hey guys, how are you going? It's really common to fall into that trap. Be like, hey, how are you going? Because you are talking to an individual that's looking at their screen. So it will really change it for you. All right, now we're going to get into the nitty gritty and the stuff that I love. So this is one of my clients, Riley. So Riley was having a little bit of trouble generating some leads when it came to her business. And there are a couple things that we actually changed. So first of all, what I find, and these strategies are different to everyone, and I really want to preface this, but at the moment, personal brand is skyrocketing in the industry. It is absolutely skyrocketing because people don't want to be sold to, but they want to buy. And who do they want to buy from? They want to buy from an individual that they know and they trust. So if you have a business brand, absolutely, totally fine. That is absolutely fine. We can talk about some stories in the future. But if you have a brand, for example, Riley works on her own and she's a personal brand, see how we've simply made the change of changing the logo to a photo of her so they could have a visual identification of who they're talking to. The next thing we did is we just added her name in front of the business name because Riley, oh, she's from the Stars Project. It gave that comparison. It made it really easy to think about. Humans are lazy, and I'm sure that you all know this. We are all inherently lazy, and we love the easy way out. If we have to multiply 2 times 2, we're going to give up and we're going to walk away. We want to make it ABC for people. The next thing we did, and this is something that you all probably might not be aware of, this is called the SEO, this dark, bold, that's the word I'm looking for, bold font is an SEO. This is what your customers are searching to find a coach on Instagram. Simply, what did we do? We went on her stories, we asked a question, what do you search for when you're looking for an online coach online? And they told us this answer. So this is what people are typing in to find you. So it needs to be optimized. It needs to have what you do. And the best way to figure out what people are typing in what you do is just to ask them. Go to one of your customers and be like, hey, when you're looking for a coach online, what did you type into the search bar of Instagram? Because if you're putting in this bar what they're searching for, they're going to find you. See how up here it said, I help women become fit, healthy, and confident. Well, doesn't every coach? Isn't that everyone's aim when starting coaching? So we wanted to make it fun. And what was the number one problem that Riley's customers had? They felt restricted when they were doing fitness and health. So down here we go, I help women get results in a sustainable and enjoyable way without giving up their social life. Doesn't that look more interesting than that? Because again, think about your challenges. They're dipping their toe in. They're not your long-term clients. They can become your long-term client. They're resistant. they're like, oh, but if I start my health, I need to give up my social life, and then I'm really not going to like my social life. And it's that thought pattern. It's that really common thought pattern. So how can we show them that you actually don't need to give up your life in order to take care of your health? It just kind of fits. How can we show that? And I know bios might not seem that important, but they do play a part in the marketing puzzle, and it's really important to just give them a good crack and try and optimize them when you can. Riley creates the recipes for us, so we put that in there as well because people love recipes. Now, challenges, love recipes. If you are a recipe coach, promote them. If you have recipes that people love, or if you can get them from somewhere, get them. I know that Everfit has a great collection of them. Recipes, people love, they have a chokehold on people. Honestly, they love them so much. And it's because it is creative. It shows them that they can eat the way that they want to eat. They don't have to eat that chicken, broccoli, and rice. And I know that when I say that, you're probably rolling your eyes because we all know that we can eat a lot more flexibly, but people don't know that because people are still impacted by them fad diets out there. So understand what's important to them, and we understood that this was important to her customers. Tactical question, how can you get the sections in bold on the IG profile? So this is actually like, sorry, I'm just gonna have to pull up my Instagram and tell you what it's called. There we go. It's your name field on Instagram. Yes, thank you, everyone. Okay, so that's optimizing your bio. When you have a challenge on, I should say, when you have a challenge on, highly recommend having just the name of, your best self challenge sign up below and pointing it down to the link so they can see. All right, we're going to jump into the fun stuff. How to sell on your stories. Does anyone here really struggle with selling on stories? Yeah. Do you feel a bit icky selling on the stories? Yeah. Yeah. Good engagement. That's right. Because I want you guys to think about when you open your Instagram, what is the first thing that you do? Yeah. So 90% of your followers, when they open their Instagram, the first thing they're going to do is open their stories. So you should be prioritizing your stories as much as possible. And when I'm doing digital marketing strategies for our customers, I don't care if you post twice a week. I want you on your stories 5 days a week. It is so important because people get hooked to stories because there is a story behind it. So I know that sales can feel a little bit icky, but I'm actually going to show you a way to make it really interesting today because it doesn't need to be icky. It doesn't need to be buy my product. And it definitely shouldn't be like this. In order to sell on your stories, you can't just show up and sell. You actually need to nurture through education, inspiration, and reality, basically. I know that as coaches, you probably do prioritize your personal life and don't want to show too much online. There is an important balance of showing enough online so people do know you versus what you want to keep private. And typically what you show online is like your health and fitness and daily life. But let's walk through stories. So this is an exact example of an outline that I've given to a coach. This is one of my clients. And this is called a story strategy. So this is what I tell them to do. They need to do it every single day. So Monday, slide 1, do a poll asking if your customers sabotage themselves. I want you to stop here. What was one of the problems that your customers had back in the activity before? Have a think about it. Can you do a poll asking them about that problem? First of all, you get a little bit of engagement when they tap on it. Slide 2, educate on what sabotaging actually is. This was actually one of Riley's stories, who I just showed you that profile. Slide 3, explain how to overcome it and make sure to tie in your coaching service to that. How do you overcome sabotage? Well, the easiest way is to take the thought out of the process and just get a coach. Slide 4, link to book a call. If you want to overcome sabotage, if you want to overcome these problems, book a call with me. I know I can solve it. So see how we're talking directly to the problem that you've put down. We're getting them to engage. We're showing that we have authority over that problem. We're showing that we know what we're doing. And then we're asking you to come and join us. So that's a really good example. These work really, really well. Riley has had 8 inquiries in the last 7 days by just following story outlines. So it is really important to engage online like this. Tuesday, do some polls and highlight your customer problems and ask them about it. So, for example, do you have a consistent training schedule? Yes or no? And then on the next page, be like, this is probably why you don't have a good one. And then do another poll, make it engaging, and then make them read it. Wednesday, show a BTS of your coaching check-ins and put a link where to book a call with you. This is really important. I love to show a little bit of BTS when it comes to the service that you offer, because you can really break down how it's unique to you. Whether you show like a fake profile, I know that there's like Jane Doe's when you log into Everfit, like fake customers, whether you show how like you go through everything and you walk through problems together and you go through training programs. Because at the end of the day, on the other side, they actually don't know what detail you go into. So make sure that you can show them what they would get so they can be like, wow, that's like actually a lot of value. That's awesome. I didn't know that they ran through that as a coach. I know that all this stuff, you might think, well, they're not interested. How can they be interested when they actually don't know what's happening behind the scenes? I can see there's a new. What's the best way to add external links to Insta and Facebook, like a sales link to a product? Do you mean on like a link tree, Ben? Like when you, 1 second, let me just scroll back. Do you mean these links here? In the description. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually a really huge fan of a site called comey.io. I'm absolutely obsessed with it at the moment. If you jump onto our Forward Moves profile on Instagram, we have one set up. And it is a really great way to add links in, to have photos, have an inquiry form. It's really aesthetically pleasing. It's a little bit more interesting than Linktree. Really enjoy that. But Linktree is also a really safe option as well. Sorry, back to stories, guys. So then on Thursday, post some customer wins. Now, if you put on your polls right now, what is the most important result that you look for with a coach, I can probably guarantee you that the relationship between the coach and the client is going to come out on top next to the before and afters. Although there is a huge emphasis on the coach can actually get you the results, there is a huge emphasis in the industry right now on your relationship with your coach, especially when you have a female demographic. We don't want to have to tell every single coach and move from coach to coach. We want to build a relationship with one coach. So it is so important. If anything, the most important thing that you can do, even over or before and after, show your customer love, show the impact that you are having on that person's life by being a part of it. Show the graphs, show the before and afters, show what you are helping your customers do. Even on Everfit, you know how you can see when people tick off their days of accountability? Screenshot that, put it on your stories and be like, Ash is so accountable this week. This is what she looked like in her first week, the before and after. Because remember, accountability was a core problem that one of your customers had. Friday, hard sell your project, and we're going to go straight into that as well. Now, these story sellings, this story outline is something that you can expect with a challenge launch story outline. However, this is something that you should be doing over and over and over and over and over and over throughout the year with your marketing momentum, because by the time you get to launch, you're going to sell really easy because people know you really well. Okay, so selling on your stories, there are 2 tips that I've got. Number 1, keep it natural. I'm finding lately that when you type on your screen and just keep it natural, I've got some examples. It looks a little bit more real for your customers rather than typing on Canva in a professional brand and posting it. Now, if you are a business, if you are a business or a company, it's a little bit different. But if you are a personal brand, I do find that like keeping it natural, typing on your stories and making the stories as you go are consumed a lot better by the customers at the moment because it's not preempted to sell someone. It's kind of just, hey, here's the information. I know it's really weird. It's just the psychology behind it. It's like, okay, well, they spent time to make that on Canva, so they're trying to get something out of me versus, oh, they just typed that, so it's actually educational. And really important to use polls and buttons. If you want to be a little bit sneaky about it, put the button in the spot where they tap to go to the next slide. So when they tap on it, you have the ability to actually talk to them and start a conversation with them. All right. I'm going to go into some stories, but I'm just going to look at the chat. When you paste links in IG, they do not share the posts as far. I've heard that. Yes. So when you post external links on your stories, it can definitely impact your level of engagement and your algorithm. Now, I am not a fan of blaming the algorithm. The algorithm is not working against you. It's just that you need to know how to use it. Yes, if you have too many external links on the platform and too many external links on the stories, Instagram is probably going to get a little bit mad and not show your story to as many people. Now, there's usually a strategy around this that we really like to use. It's just go off your stories for 24 hours and don't post anything, and then go back to regular posting. I don't know what it is. It just resets it, and it will reset your customers. If you notice that your views are down, just stop popping some links on your story and just start educating on your stories instead. There's really no way that you can win against the algorithm. It's more so that you just got to try and work with it as much as you can. And if you notice that as well, and you really want to sell something, just change your strategy. Instead of having a link to, hey, send me a DM or something like that, to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so I've got some examples here of educational sales stories. So see how I said it's a little bit more natural with just having a photo and typing over the top of it. These stories work really, really well. So as you can see, we're talking about two of the main problems. Sustainable fat loss are the two main problems that this coach has with her customers. And she educates them on it. She shows them the social proof of how she's actually solved this problem with her customer. I can probably guarantee that you've solved one of the problems that your challenge is going to have with a previous customer. And then she's actually done a little bit more of a relatability post around wanting women to gain the knowledge and actually genuinely caring that they have the knowledge to make the results. And then on this slide here, she's called them to action. See how it's not, hey, buy my product. It's, hey, look at what I can do for you. This is really important to me. And I know that I can really help you because I've just shown you through all this education that you can be sustainable. So see how the selling is hard, but it's not as hard. It's got like a little bit of fluff, a little bit of education, and then it's got that call to action linked to it as well. I'm going to come back to that link question, Ben, because I want to focus in on stories at the moment. Here's another example of sales stories. So, for example, this customer, her customer's main problems are discipline, motivation, lack of knowledge, and work-life balance and stress. So then she's educated on it, and then she goes, check out some of the messages I've received. And she's just snipped the messages from Everfit. And all the messages are around all the problems that her customers have. We also sold out this customer's challenge by doing these kind of marketing methods a little while ago. This is another sales story I really, really love. It is a hard sell, but I want to show you how she hard sells. So if we come in, so basically what this customer, her whole business is around becoming a weapon and training hard. So see how she points out what the problems are down here. And then in this one here, what they desire. If you desire this, this is built for you. Join the team. And she doesn't do it all on the same page. She copies the same story across and across, adds a little bit more and a little bit more because she wants to really push that message across to them. So see how instead of just saying, I can help you lose weight, she's turned around and said, I can get you excited to train. I can help you lose weight. And this is how you're going to feel when you sign up with me. So see how there's more value within this hard sell rather than just saying, this is what I've got, you should sign up. If you're posting stories around, this is what's included in my offer. This is what, I've got an online coaching offer. I have a weekly check-in. I've got a training program. I want you to think, what does that do for me? What does that actually do for me? If you say you're going to get access to a training program, well, why? What is that doing for me? Why does that benefit me as a consumer? So when you go and sell on your stories, think about the benefit it's going to give your consumer online. It's like just me saying, Lynn, these stories were the same day. When you sell on a story, it should have the start and then the very end. It's about 5 or 6 slides. It should be all in one go. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. This, for example, if you just say sign up to a training program, it's the exact same me saying, I'm just going to give you a story strategy. And then it's like, well, why? How does that benefit me? What does it do? And by actually explaining what it does for you, it's going to get you across that line to be like, okay, this actually really benefits me. This is what I need. This is the answer I've been looking for. With the photos that you would use, really depends on your demographic. If you have a demographic that's based on food and nutrition, use food and nutrition photos. If you are a girl that does promote building a strong body and, for lack of a better word, building a booty, it would make sense to utilize that because that is what your current customer is looking for. If you are a coach that promotes strength, use some photos of you lifting in the background or something like that. Whatever you use, it needs to align with your demographic. Now, customer love is a really big part of selling, and this is usually where a lot of people get very confused around what they can post online. Now, remember, customer love is all about the impact that you have had on the customer, and if anything, it is more important than the tangible result. Now, I'm not saying that the tangible result does not have value. It absolutely does. I'm just saying that it is really important to show people's long-term progress with you and customer love with you. So, for example, the Everfit has all the tools for you. You just need to use them. The graphs that it has, fantastic. Show them how they've been maintaining. And if they're maintaining, snip a couple comments in there around how they're maintaining, but they've got better body positivity, like matching up the feeling to the phase that they're in. Just show like the graphs when you're doing your check-ins, talk about how when they've lost the weight, what they've been doing. Just snip as much as you can. You have all the data there at your hands. You've got all the data at your hands. I'm sorry, I'm losing track trying to look at the chat and this at the same time. This is something I find that a lot of people don't do. Welcome every single person to your challenge or your team. Now, when you have a challenge, welcome people. There's a couple of methods that you can do, and I think a few of you might have seen this. It's like, welcome Ash to the challenge, or a couple of people do like the Post-it notes with the name on it and they show them pinning it up on the wall. Why? Because people are seeing that people are joining. It creates that FOMO effect. Humans get really bad FOMO and we don't want to miss out on things. If everyone else is doing it, then I need to do it. It's just a really habitual thing that we do. It's something that is in our blood. Welcome people to your team. Welcome them. If they don't want their photo online, put their name and be like, welcome to the team, and bring them online. I prefer having a photo and a name, or just a name over having like a purchase. I'm sure that you've all seen it on a story where they put like, X has joined the team, the payment's confirmed, or something like that. Because at the end of the day, your customers aren't interested in payments. They're interested to see the faces that are like them within that team so they can join it and feel part of that community. So again, it comes back down to the psychology of buying. All right, do I have any questions around the story selling? Did that make it a little bit easier for you to sell on stories? Is there still a bit of confusion and questions around it? I'm not sure what you mean by video message, Ben. Can you please explain? Oh, absolutely. You can do a video message online if you wanted to. Totally up to you. That's great. I love that. Okay, feed content and posts. So I'm actually going to base this around a specific launch strategy because I can't tell you what to post on your feed. It is really dependent from person to person, from business to business, and it really does vary across the board. But I am going to give you a little bit of insight, and then I do have a couple of examples to show you how much you should be posting. Now, it's the exact same thing as stories. You need to be consistent to know that people know that you have an offering. You can't just post the challenge once and walk away from it. You need to post it at least 4 times in a span of 6 days, and I will get into that in a second. But it all boils down to how much you've been nurturing your audience and speaking to their problems coming into it. So if you're watching this in November and you want to launch a New Year's challenge, start now. Start posting consistently now. The more that you nurture. And this does come back to a couple of comments in the chat around really low engagement. It can take a while to build this up because people don't know why they should be looking at your profile if you do not give them a reason to look at it, if you do not give them an option to look at it. So that's probably the reason why your engagement is low. And if your engagement's low because you're not posting and then you go to sell and then that's all you do, why would people want to look at your profile? So you've got to give back as much as you want to take from your customers as well, especially being in the industry that we're in. People want to feel really safe on pages that they're following, and people will follow the fitness pages that they want to follow. So making sure that you are posting that engaging content. So when it comes to posting content, I recommend 4 different types of content in particular. Number 1 is inspo. At the end of the day, if you live and breathe fitness, your customers are probably going to live and breathe fitness. You need to pave the way of your customers. You need to live the life that you are preaching to them. You need to live the values that you're preaching to them. It really does build that authenticity within the brand. So making sure that you provide them with inspiration. Basically, you do what you say. Really important. And there are lots of ways that you can do that. Number 2, your feed post should solve a problem. So, for example, I'm going to give you an activity to put your thinking caps on. If you were to post a video of making a recipe based on the problems that your customer have, what is the angle that you would post that video with? So if you were to post a general recipe cooking video, basing it on one of the problems that your customer have, what are some of the text that you could have on the screen? Beautiful. 10-minute breakfast for busy people. Love it. So see how instead of me just posting, okay, let's just pretend we're going to do protein oats, right? I've posted a protein oats recipe with nothing else. But if I've posted a protein breakfast and it goes 10-minute breakfast, highly satiating and delicious, that's going to speak to them. Family meal, exactly. You could focus this around meal prep. Maybe you're posting a video about making a pasta and it's family-friendly meal prep in under 15 minutes that the kids will love. Beautiful. Showing them what their life can look like, really important. Just like the before and after, we are in an industry where we can show them what their life will look like. We can basically tell them to pick their heart, and we can repeat this message over and over and over and over and over because we are picking a heart no matter what option that we pick. So you can show them what their life will look like. And there's lots of ways that you can do this. And the last one, highly important, is your relationship building post. You should never ignore your customer success. You should never ignore them feel good, fuzzy messages. You should always make time for them on your feed. As I said, I can't really dive too much into feed posts just as a general because every strategy is different, but I will give you some examples on how you can actually promote your launch. So I'm going back to that client who had launched her challenge. It was called the 30-day weapon challenge. These 4 posts were posted in 4 days. Sorry, 5 days. She had 4 posts in 5 days about the challenge. And that made this challenge so popular for her because she reiterated the message. So I'm going to walk you through what kind of posts that you can post based on a couple of different ones. So post 1, and you would be looking at this like an upcoming post, is you want to post a reel to build the hype. Now, I have got a couple of examples in here. So Rob, will I be able to send these links through for people to look at following the call? Just let me know. With the post coming into the launch week, let's just say we're basing this off 7 days out. So the challenge starts in 7 days. 7 days out, I'm posting a reel to really, really build the hype within the challenge. Then post 2, a reel to provide context on what the challenge actually is. So again, I do have links in there and I will find a way to send them through to you all so you can have a look. And these are all posts within 5 days. Post 3 is the most important, and I've pulled one of my customers' challenges. This is about the challenge inclusion. So you've had a hype reel, you've had like a bit of an explanation reel, and now we're actually posting a still post of what's included in the challenge. Okay, beautiful, great. So this is probably one of the most important ones that you should be looking at, and I want to walk you through it. So first post, the name of it, what's included. Second one, what's included. I just said that twice. Third one, unique selling proposition. This is what our customers wanted. They wanted the opportunity to pick what training program that they could have. 4, M is really well known for recipes. She is a big recipe girl, and that's really important to her customers. So she made a full slide about it to show them. 5, she questioned them. Are you ready to have a change in your life? Are you ready to have confidence? Are you ready to actually build a foundation? She asked them if they're ready to leave their old behaviors behind. And then she just said, go to the link in the bio and you can sign up. So in this post, she's targeted her customer problem, her USP, her inclusions, and the special offer as well. And then the final post is either to explain or to have social proof. So your final reel, which should be really closing in on that launch day, should be showing the results that you can get customers through having messages pop up on a screen or before and afters pop up on a screen, or a video of you actually talking to them and saying, this is what I can get to you. So they're 4 posts that you should do in 5 days leading up into your challenge, and they all have different angles. So one is to build hype, one is to give context, one is to explain all the questions, and then one is to provide social proof at the very end. And again, emphasize 4 posts in 5 days. You have to be posting a lot when you're launching a challenge, otherwise you can't expect to get numbers up. So to finish this off, I want to talk to you about what you can do to prep for a New Year's challenge now. So number 1 is start posting about your customers' pain points that we've mapped out together. Don't take pain points at face value, break them down just like I did with you in the exercise. Number 2, give away something for free. Whether this is, for example, if your customers really struggle with going off track in the Christmas season, provide them with something for free that can really help them throughout this phase, because you're buttering them up to actually join your challenge early next year. Whether this is a flexible eating book, whether this is a navigating the festive season book, whether this is a free 4-week program on your Everfit app so they can get a bit of a feel for it. You can always do an upsell strategy at the end, but you need to give them something for free. You need to let them trial your coaching, and you need to let them do that now. And number 3 is give away free value and advice. This is something that I find can be a bit of a missing gap. There is a lot of manual labor included in getting leads on board in your business. So you need to be labor intensive with that. Have conversations in your DM, give out advice and show people that you know what you're talking about. Spark conversations through the engagement on your story and actually show them that you know what you can do, and that way you can sell them when you come into your challenge. So these are all the really simple things that you can do right now to ensure that you're going to convert in January. All right, so that's everything I've got for today. Does anyone have any questions about it? Thea, I've done free 14-day challenges. How much is normal to charge for longer challenges? I will be really transparent here. This is a difficult one. It really depends on what kind of challenge you run. But down here in Australia, we pay a lot of money for fitness and health. So our challenge prices are probably a little bit higher if you are in the US or Canada or in another country. But typically here, you can look at paying $45 to $50 a week for a challenge if it's got check-ins, or maybe like $250 for a 6-week challenge that doesn't have check-ins. So we tend to pay a lot of money down here. It just really depends where you are.
I'll just quickly add to that, Ash, that I'd say, like, you know, maybe try and find other people that are running challenges that are similar to that, see what they're pricing it at, and then, you know, try and use that to help you identify what you should be charging. But again, obviously, like Ash said, it's always going to be dependent on the specifics of your challenge as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 80 plus GST weekly. So yeah, very dependent what's included. The pricing strategy is based on the inclusions and your target market too.
Thank you so much, Ash, and the whole team, and Kira as well. I know she ran the first 2 webinars as well, so this has been really awesome. We're also going to have some forward moves content coming to Everfit Academy as well, which is going to be similar around this back-end systems, challenges, things like that as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that coming in the next couple of weeks. But I know we're a little bit over time, so I don't want to hold anyone else up for too much longer, but just wanted to say thank you all again for coming, and we'll see you in some upcoming webinars.
Thank you, everyone.